Hi, this is Andrew, Big White Fly Company. We're here today because we've got this really cool tiger barred rabbit strip material that we've got in here a little while ago, and I just want to show you some cool streamer, or a cool streamer we can tie with this. We're going to tie this streamer up here today. It's very similar to the one we sell here called the Slumpbuster, but it's got the cool rabbit on it. And I use this thing all the time, bass fishing, trout fishing. It's kind of my go-to pattern. So I got my base laid down here. I got a nice chunk of cactus chenille. I'm going to tie it in all the way from the top and work my way back just so that it is even. The whole body is even all the way up when I start tying forward. I am going to leave space up because I'm going to create a nice big head. So I don't need to, when I wrap it forward, I don't need to go all the way to the top. So I can always leave a little bit of space. I'm going to tie the wire in. If this was a smaller fly, I would tie the wire in all the way up at the top, but because the wire is so small, it's not going to create any difference in the bulk back here in the body. And that was a small chunk of wire, so I'm just tying it about halfway in. When I start wrapping forward, it's important as you come around, you pull down so that you feel that thing kind of seat down into the thread, and it should stay tight. You'll see the top of the fly, the top of the hook pull down as I come around. And as I start to go forward, I'm going to grab the excess, like cactus bits, and pull them back so that they stick up and aren't getting laid over. Creates a nice even body. Getting near the end there. Just going to stop. I'll do 3 wraps to make sure it is in. You don't need to over wrap. A lot of guys, especially when they're starting, they'll throw 10, 12 wraps in there because they're not sure that it's really tight. But really, like, if you get it down around that first 1 or 2 and you pull down and you feel it seep, maybe just another 1 or 2 should be fine. I took my 1 strand of crystal flash, I folded it in half, and I tied that in halfway. So it'll actually end up with 4 pieces of flash. And one of them will have a little bit of a loop in it right now. 4 pieces of splash. Now these are going to wave around all over the place, which is kind of what I want. I'm going to cut a chunk of rabbit. I'm going to go about 1.5 times the length of the body here. I don't need the tail to be too long, and I don't need it to be too short, but it's better to be too long than too short, I think. Tie the rabbit in. Again, this head right here, you can leave space here. This is the cool thing about this fly, because most people, especially when they're starting off, end up with like way too much thread and these huge heads, and you're going to tie in a head over the top of this later, so it doesn't really matter if you give yourself too much space here. So you got your wire back here, and you want to make sure that it's not going to slip, so you go around a few times, and I feel pretty good about that. So come back, pull it tight. Remember, always keep your materials tight, and I'm going to find that nice spot where I can pull the hair back and pull it forward, and it's going to lay down right in between the two. At this point, you're going to start wrapping forward. Now take your scissors, and as you come forward, just clear the hair out of the way with the tip of the scissors. You don't need to cut it or anything, just clear it, because you don't want the wire to be holding any of that hair down. You want as much movement as you can out of the hair. wasn't the best one. There's a little hair under there, but that's okay. As long as it's not like blatant and affect the overall action, it should be fine. Now, at a certain point, I gotta take that crystal flask that's hanging out there and just kind of like put it underneath the wire so that it's kind of out of my way for the rest of the tie. So, get to the front, wrap it around. Now I got a big old space here for the head we're gonna make. We're gonna do a little dubbing brush. Take another little chunk of rabbit. It doesn't have to be as long as the first one. It could be about the length of the body. This is actually a little bit bigger than I'd like, but we're gonna go with it anyway. Gonna take a dubbing brush tool. This is one Stone Foe. I got it from Hairline, but there's all sorts of cool ones. There's a really cool one by Loon that we've got in that I would like to try out here soon. To do a dubbing brush, you take a loop here, tie it down, take some wax. Right there, you're always going to get a little extra chunk of wax, so make sure you rub it in. And take a chunk of rabbit and you're going to feed it into this dubbing brush. So there's two pieces of thread here, and there's a little space in between. Oops. There's a little bit of space in between. If I just shove the hide or the leather in there, just the very tip of it, and run it all the way to the top, I can kind of get the hide on one side and the hair on the other. And I take the bottom and I pinch it together, maybe just a little spin or two to create some more tension. Carefully look to make sure it's actually pulled all the way through. And you basically just cut that leather off. It's okay if you miss some. It'll move around a little bit. It takes a while to practice this till you can do it without messing it up. But it's okay if you have a little bit of extra that comes out when you pull. It's fine. So at this point, still pinched here, I want to start twisting so that when I let go, it starts spinning. If you don't twist it first, what happens is you let go and a bunch of that hair will fall out because you haven't created enough tension here. So I just keep twisting and twisting and twisting. You'll see this kind of like shrink down and it'll get really nice and even. And if you do it enough, eventually you'll do it so much that you'll make it so tight that it will break the thread. So we don't need to go that far. So at this point, I just wrap the head on there, maybe 3-4 times, and make sure you can start going back, but you have to finish by going forward. Got yourself a nice little head there. 2, 3. Not the prettiest fly I've tied this week, but this thing will certainly catch a bass or a trout around here. Because of all the rabbit fur on here, I do not like to use head cement because it will get all over that fur, so I just whip finish for a while. That should be fun. Very simple fly using a really cool material, tiger barred rabbit strips. So happy tying.